Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. Today's question. If in a certain FIFA World Cup, no earlier than 1994, the points of the four teams in the same group form an arithmetic sequence, how many points do each of the four teams score? Why not give a try, and we will come back soon. The same as in the previous questions, we first list all the possibilities of the first team's points. Then let's take a look at whether there are any restrictions on the common difference of this arithmetic sequence. The first is the points for the fourth team, which is equal to x minus 3 times d. It cannot be smaller than 0. That is to say, d cannot be bigger than x over 3. Then let's take a look at the total points of this group. As we discussed earlier, the total points is somewhere between 12 and 18. If the first team's points and common difference are used to express this total points, it is 4 times x minus 6 times d. It is not smaller than 12, and not bigger than 18. That is to say, d is not smaller than 2/3 times x minus 3, and not bigger than 2/3 times x minus 2. Please don't forget that these are only sufficient conditions. In the end, we still need to find a combination of wins, losses and draws to realize the expected x and d. In particular, the exact value of this total points is determined by the number of games ending in a draw, namely, it is equal to 18 minus this number. Now let's take a look at those possibilities one by one. If the first team scores 9 points. The first condition, d is not bigger than 3. The second condition, d cannot be smaller than 3. So it can only be 3 itself. The points of these four teams are 9, 6, 3, and 0 respectively. Regarding the specific game results, the first team must have 3 wins. The second lost 1 game to the first, and won the remaining 2 games. If the third team loses to the top 2, then must win the fourth. And the fourth team lost all of their 3 games. No problem. If the first team scores 7 points. In the first condition, d is not bigger than 7 over 3. And in the second condition, d is between 5 over 3 and 8 over 3. The only integer in this range is 2. The points of the four teams are 7, 5, 3, 1 respectively. A total of 16 points. Indicating that there have been 2 games ending in a draw. 7 points can only come from 2 wins and 1 draw. And 5 points can only come from 1 win and 2 draws. 1 point can only come from 1 draw and 2 losses. So there have been 2 games ending in a draw already, so no more draws for third team. The third has 1 win and 2 losses then. If the first and second have a draw, the first and third both win the fourth, the first and the second both win the third, and the second has a draw with the fourth, all conditions can be met. For example, the Group H in 2002 had such a result. Then let's look at the situation, where the first place scores 6 points. We obtain the range of d in the same way. D can be 1 or 2. If d is 1, the points of the four teams are 6, 5, 4, 3. There are in total 18 points. Which means that there is no game ending in a draw. But the only possibility for the 5 points is 1 win and 2 draws. There is at least a draw already. So the case where d is 1 cannot take place. If d is 2, the points of the four teams are 6, 4, 2, 0. There are in total 12 points. Which means that all the 6 games ending in a draw. In that case, the points of every team must be 3 points, which is also contradictory, so the case where d is 2 cannot take place either. The first team then cannot score 6 points. If the first team scores 5 points. In the first condition, d is not bigger than 5 over 3. And in the second condition, d is between 1 over 3 and 4 over 3. D can only be 1 then. The points of the four teams are 5, 4, 3, 2. A total of 14 points. There have been 4 games ending in a draw. 5 points must come from 1 win and 2 draws. 4 points must come from 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss. 2 points must come from 2 draws and 1 loss. In order to have 4 games ending in a draw, the third team has to play 3 games ending in a draw. This can only happen if the second wins the fourth and the first wins the second. Such as the Group F in 2010. if the first team scores 4 points. In the first condition, D is not bigger than 4 over 3. And in the second condition, D is between -1 over 3 and 2 over 3. D can only be 0 then. Every team scores 4 points. Each team has 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss. If we put the 4 teams on the 4 vertices of a square, going clockwise or counterclockwise, each team wins its neighbor and has a draw with the team on the diagonal. We will have such results. For example, the Group E in 1994. In the last case, if the first team scores 3 points, the first condition, D is not bigger than 1. And the second condition, D is between -1 and 0. So D can only be equal to 0. All teams get 3 points. All games end in a draw. Interesting. But from 1994 to 2018, this has never happened. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.